So hello students and welcome back again to another video tutorial by Genome Biotech. This would be a lecture number third of molecular biology. And in this particular lecture, we are going to look at the book of Pathfinder and just look at the different aspects which have been described here. Okay, so I have already told you what is the genome. Sum total of all the genetic material which is present in an organism was referred to as genome. So it is very well described here by Pranav sir. The genome is defined as the totality of all the DNA which is present within an organism is referred to as the genome. It has been clearly illustrated here that the totality of all the DNA which is present is referred to as genome. We have two different types of genome. One is referred to as the nuclear genome, which is present within the nucleus. Another one is called as the organelle genome. Organelle genome is present in the mitochondria as well as the chloroplast. So both chloroplast and mitochondria are going to make the organelle genome. Okay, so this is the organelle genome that has been made. Next, the amount of DNA present in the haploid genome is referred to as the C value. Now, what amount of DNA is present in the haploid genome is called as C value, and C value is the characteristics of each species. The value range from less than 10 raised to the power 6 base pair, as in the case of smallest prokaryotes, to greater than 10 raised to the power 11 base pair, as in the case of mycoplasma. So this value is greatly varied. देखिए वैल्यू जो होती है वो ग्रेटली वेरीड करती है. द वैल्यू इज ग्रेटली वेरीड फॉर द सी वैल्यू in the case of small prokaryotes it is less than 10 raised to the power 6 number of base pair, and for mycoplasma it can be greater than 10 raised to the power 11 base pair. So there is actually no complexity relation in between the amount of the genetic material and the complexity of the organism is referred to as C value paradox. C value, what is C value? C value refers to as the amount of genetic material present in an organism. C value, I have already told you what is this C value. C value, it refers to the amount of genetic material. It refers to the amount of genetic material, to the amount of genetic material present in an organism. Amount of genetic material present in an organism. In an organism. So the amount of genetic material which is present in an organism is referred to as its C value. This is referred to as the C value. Okay. Now you look at the different organisms. Here you can see that viruses have 10 raised to the power 5 up till 10 raised to the power 5 uh, base pair is the amount of genetic material that is present in the case of viruses. So viruses have a smallest of among all genetic material, but there is no relationship between the complexity of the organism and the genome size. For example, you can look here. See, this is the human and this is about the flowering plants. So flowering plants will be considered much more complex than humans. No, mammals have a very limited value for their genomic DNA. That is the limited value of complexity. It lies only in at this particular region. Whereas there are other organisms which have a much more complex DNA molecule, which have a much more larger DNA molecule. So there, the haploid, there the DNA content is greatly altered. The DNA content of the haploid genome is of the range of phyla. The DNA content of the haploid genome is being shown here. That is shown in different ranges. The range of values for a phylum is indicated by the shaded region. These are the different values that have been indicated for the phylum. Now, this lack of correlation is referred to as C value paradox. I have already told you. See, in lower eukaryotes, organisms like yeast, amount of DNA is directly proportional to the complexity of the organism. So amount of DNA is going to be directly proportional to the complexity of the organism. Okay, in the case of lower eukaryotic organisms. But there is no correlation between, there is no correlation in between increased genomic size and complexity. And this no correlation between the genomic size and complexity is referred to as the C value paradox. Okay, this is referred to as the C value paradox when there is no correlation between the genomic size and the complexity of an organism. This lack of correlation is referred to as the C value paradox. Okay, so for this particular correlation, this lack of correlation is referred to as the C value paradox. Is the C value paradox understandable for you all or not? For example, the amphibians contain 30 times more DNA than human cells, but still they are less complex than humans. Humans are conclusively much more complex as compared to the amphibians. Humans ज़्यादा complex हैं amphibians के comparison में. Okay, so humans are much more complex as compared to amphibians, and amphibians are much more simple. But still, amphibian contain very large amount of genetic material. They may contain 30 times more DNA than humans possess. Okay, so amphibian cells contain 30 times more DNA molecule than what is present in the case of human cells. Amphibians can vary. Moreover, the genome of different species of amphibians can greatly vary. Okay, 100-fold in their DNA content. The genomic complexity of the amphibians can greatly vary up till 100 folds in their DNA content. Now, genomic size of different eukaryotic organisms. This is the genomic size of different eukaryotic organisms. You can look here. The genomic size of Saccharomyces cerevisiae, Arabidopsis thaliana, Drosophila melanogaster, Homo sapiens, and vulgaris, the barley. So this is the genomic size. You can look that the barley has the largest genomic size. Okay, so the genomic size is greatly varied among the different individuals. There are certain model organisms, those you must remember, and those can be remembered with the help of a trick. The trick is PDACP. PDACP. ACP. P refers to Saccharomyces pombe. Saccharomyces pombe. D refers to Drosophila melanogaster. Drosophila melanogaster. A refers to Arabidopsis thaliana. A thaliana. C refers to Caenorhabditis elegans. And P refers to Pisum sativum. Sorry. It refers to Pisum sativum. Now, please look here. This is Pisum sativum. Now, these can be differentiated from each other on the basis of number of chromosomes that are present. It has 3 number of chromosomes. It has 4. It has 5. It has 6. And it has 7 number of chromosomes. All these refers to as the haploid number of chromosomes which are present in these species. It refers to as the haploid number of chromosomes which are present. N equals to 6. So N equal to 4. Okay. N equal to 3. So these are the haploid number of chromosomes that are going to be present. Now, genome complexity. I have already told you that genome complexity can be measured with the help of a renaturation kinetics. And this renaturation kinetics, which is used to measure the genome complexity, is referred to as the COT curve. So I have told you that COT curve could be used to measure the renaturation kinetics. Now, what is this COT curve? I have explained it to you. The graph of a single stranded DNA re-annealed as a function of COT on a semi-logarithmic plot is called as COT curve. See this? The graph of a single stranded DNA, it is the definition of COT curve. The graph of the fraction of a single stranded DNA re-annealed as a function of COT on a semi-logarithmic plot is referred to as COT curve. Please refer to my previous lecture to understand what is this COT curve. Komalji, you can refer to that particular lecture in order to understand the same. Okay. Now, COT half of a reaction indicate the total length of the different sequences that are present within a DNA molecule. Okay. So COT half refers to COT half equals to 1 upon K. We can calculate the value of COT half, and the value of COT half came out to be equivalent to 1 upon K. This is the value of COT half. Okay. COT half of a reaction indicates the total length of the different sequences of DNA that are present. The complexity of the DNA can be determined by comparing its COT value with that of standard DNA of known complexity. अगर किसी भी DNA की complexity को आपको पता करना है, then you will have to compare the complexity of the DNA molecule can be compared on the basis of comparing the COT value with that of the standard DNA of known complexity. Now, see, this is the question that I have told you to solve. I have already solved this particular question in my previous lecture. Now, repetitive DNA sequences. We have looked upon the animation of this particular section. Now, just please have a look, and I would be moving forward. Repetitive DNA sequences have been identified or to be of two different types. Repetitive DNA sequences means those DNA sequences which are repeated many times within the genome. These are repeated many times within the genome. These sequences are repeated many times within the genome of an organism. Are repeated many times within the genome of an organism. Within the genome of an organism. Are called as repetitive DNA sequences. Now, these repetitive DNA sequences can be called as non-repetitive DNA sequences. Firstly, you can classify the DNA sequences in the following manner. I have already classified them up, so I'm not going into detail. Non-repetitive DNA sequences or unique DNA sequences. These DNA sequences are the DNA sequences which are present in only one copy number. These consist of sequences that are unique. That is, these are always present in a single copy number in a haploid genome. Okay, so these are present only in a single copy number within the haploid genome. Then it is referred to as non-repetitive DNA sequences. Okay. Another one is referred to as repetitive DNA sequences. What do you mean by repetitive DNA sequences? Repetitive DNA sequences are the sequences that are repeated many times within the genome. That is, repetitive DNA sequences that are present in more than one copy in the haploid genome are referred to as repetitive DNA sequences. Okay, they are present in more than one copy within the haploid genome, then they are referred to as repetitive DNA sequences. Next, repetitive sequences shows much more rate of renaturation than the non-repetitive DNA sequences because of the complementary nature of the repetitive DNA sequences. They can be joined much more faster as compared to non-repetitive DNA sequences. Repetitive DNA sequences आपस में complementary होते हैं, इसीलिए वो जल्दी join कर पाते हैं as compared to the non-repetitive DNA sequences. Okay, so repetitive DNA sequences will renature fast. Hence, what conclusively we can say, repetitive DNA sequences always renature. Repetitive DNA sequences, DNA sequences always renature much more faster. Renatures much more faster than non-repetitive DNA sequences. Than non-repetitive DNA sequences. So this is what is going to happen. Now, renaturation kinetics have further divided the repetitive DNA sequences into the following two different types. So, according to the renaturation kinetics, again, the DNA denaturation, DNA sequencing can be divided into the following two different types. One is referred to as the moderately repetitive DNA sequences, another one is referred to as the highly repetitive DNA sequences. So, there are these are of two different types. One is called as moderately repetitive DNA sequences, another one is called as highly repetitive DNA sequences. Now, what is the difference between moderately repetitive DNA sequences and highly repetitive DNA sequences? Highly repetitive DNA sequences include the mini satellite and the microsatellite. We always know that highly repetitive DNA sequences are also referred to as simple sequence DNA molecule. These are referred to as simple sequence DNA molecule. That means these are present in the form of a simple sequence and are repeated many times within the genome. These sequences, these simple sequences of the DNA can be separated from the bulk of the genomic DNA through cesium chloride density gradient ultracentrifugation. अगर हमने highly repetitive DNA sequences को बाहर निकालना ही है तो हम क्या कर सकते हैं, cesium chloride density gradient ultracentrifugation method को use करके इन्हें degrade करा सकते हैं. We can degrade them by using the method that is called as cesium chloride density gradient ultracentrifugation. Okay, and what you get out of the removal of these sequences is the rho equals to 1.66 plus 0.098 x g plus c. This is the density gradient that is being obtained. So the density gradient is given by this particular formula. This is the density gradient. Rho is equal to 1.66 plus 0.098 x g plus c. 1.66 plus 0.098 x g plus c. 0.098 x g plus c. This is the most important formula. Okay, so what does this formula indicate? This formula indicate that the gc value always have a greater density. Okay, now thus the DNA that can be separated from the bulk of the genomic DNA and forms a different band is referred to as satellite DNA. Main DNA always produces a different band at different buoyancy density, whereas the satellite DNA always form a separate band at the other different buoyancy density. So these are the two different buoyancy densities in which the satellite DNA is going to form the band. So one is at this buoyancy density, another one is at this buoyancy density. So these are the two different satellite DNA. In the case of humans, when you talk about human genomic DNA forms a main band and three satellite bands. So when you talk about human genomic DNA, then human genomic DNA has a main band, and then there are three side bands which are present. The three side bands which are present are 1.687, 1.693, and 1.697 gram per centimeter cube. This occurs in the case of human, and this is in the case of mouse. See this? Okay, this is not Mickey Mouse, but this is mouse. Okay, so mouse genomic DNA has this type of the satellite DNA separation from the main bulk of the genomic DNA. Genomic DNA से separate हो जाता है satellite DNA, and this could be separated on the basis of buoyancy density with the formula of buoyancy density means 1.66 1.66 plus 0.098 x g plus c. This is the guanine cytosine content that is present, and this is equivalent to the sigma value. Now, what do you mean by mini satellite and micro satellite? Mini satellite क्या होता है और micro satellite क्या होता है? Now, mini satellite and micro satellites differs from each other on the basis of these, both of these are going to be different from each other on the basis of the length of the simple sequences, repeat sequences. Okay, so on the basis of length of the simple sequence repeats, they are going to be different from each other. Now see this. Mini satellite forms a cluster of approximately 20 kilo base pair in length with total length of 20 to 50 repeats unit, whereas microsatellite will form a cluster of around less than 150 base pair. Okay, so this will cluster up till 20 kilo base pair. 20 kilo base pair means 20,000 base pair. मिनी सैटेलाइट का क्लस्टर करीब करीब कितना बड़ा हो सकता है? इट कैन बी एज लार्ज एज 20,000 base pair cluster. Okay, but when you are going to talk about the microsatellite, it can have a cluster of less than 150 base pair. This is the cluster of the microsatellite. Okay, the typical microsatellite consists of 1 to 2 to 3 to 4 base pair repeated unit 10 to 20 number of times. Okay, this is the typical repeating units which are present. Next, now major class of the repetitive DNA molecule. Now, which are the major class of the repetitive DNA molecule? So you can see that these are the different classes. One is referred to as the alpha satellite, also referred to as the alphoid satellite. Another one is referred to as the beta satellite. Alpha satellite is always present at the centromeric region of the heterochromatin. Now, DNA fingerprinting. DNA fingerprinting is a technique which is also referred to as DNA testing, typing, or profiling, is the technique which exploit the presence of mini satellite in variable number. And this, when mini satellite are present in variable number, then it is referred to as VNTR, variable number tandem repeats. Okay. DNA fingerprinting is a technique which is used to distinguish between individuals of the same species using only samples of their DNA. Okay. It is a technique which is used to differentiate between the individuals of a species just on the basis of their DNA sequences. On the basis of DNA sequences, you would be able to differentiate between individuals of a particular species. किसी भी species के डीएनए के सैंपल्स के बेसिस पे आप इंडिविजुअल को डिफरेंशिएट कर सकते हो. इसी टेक्निक का नाम होता है डीएनए फिंगरप्रिंटिंग. The chemical structure, we always know that our DNA has the same type of a chemical structure. The chemical structure of everyone DNA is going to be same. The only difference that is going to be produced is on the basis of base pair. Hence every person could be identified solely by the sequences of their base pair. Hence we can identify every person could be identified solely by the sequences of their base pair. Two individuals which will have vast majority of their DNA being similar to each other, but will always have difference in the number of their mini satellite and micro satellite. Okay, please do look here. Two individuals will have the vast majority of DNA sequence same, but DNA profiling exploit a a specific region which is called as VNTR. VNTR refer to variable number tandem repeat. Now you look here. See this. These are the number of microsatellite repeats, and these are referred to as VNTR. So in the parent six, in the parent one, you can find six VNTR. In the parent in the parent one, you were able to find six VNTR, whereas this is six. Okay, I'm writing in numerals. And here you can find 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7, 8, 9. You can find 9 VNTRs. Okay, 9 variable number tandem repeats. Okay, so these are going to be different from each other. As these are going to be different from each other, so they can be used to make different bands. So see this, parent A will make two different bands. One is at the sixth position and another is at the ninth position. Why at the sixth and the ninth position? Because of the presence of VNTRs. These VNTRs have made it compulsory to make the bands at a specific position, that is 6 and 9. And here you look at the parent number second. In the parent number second, you find that these are the mini satellites which are present at in the number of 5 and 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6 and 7. These are 5 and these are 7. These are 7 in nature. Okay, so these will make DNA sequence at 5 and 7. This is 7 and this is 5. Okay, and then there are progenies which are present. Now progenies, what are these bands? What are these black color bands? These are actually referred to as the mini satellites and their repeats. These each is referred to as the mini satellite and its repeat in variable number. And its repeats in variable number. So this is mini satellite, and this mini satellite, sorry, this is number. And this mini satellite is repeated in variable number. There, this is the variation that you can find. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 6. Here you can find 9 variation. Here you can find 7 and 5. So if this is male, considering either they would be male or female, and the other one would be female. Now, how the combinations can be made? 6 with 5, 6 with 7, 9 with 5 or 9 with 7. Okay, तो चार कॉम्बिनेशन बन सकते हैं. 6 के साथ में क्या चला जाएगा? 6 के साथ में 5 चला जाएगा, 6 के साथ में 7 चला जाएगा, 6 with 7. So see this, where are the combinations produced? So these are the four. progenies that are possible. 6 with 5. 6 with 5 could be produced. Yes, this organism can be the progeny. 7 with 6 can be produced. 7 with 6. Yes. We know that one gene is one chromosome from the mother. One chromosome from mother and one chromosome from father is are inherited. One chromosome from father are inherited inherited into offspring into offspring. This is how the inheritance pattern is going to be governed. Any doubt if you have, you can ask me. Okay. 7 and 9. How can 7 and 9 be possible? Yes. These are the possible combinations in the offsprings that could be produced. Offsprings that could be produced. These are the possible combinations that could be produced in the offspring from these parental combination. These are parental type. Parental type. Okay. Any doubt if you have? If you have a doubt, please ask. Use the message button or just raise your hand and use the chat box, and if you find any doubt you can ask me. So this is how DNA fingerprinting is being done. I would be just showing you some questions and there we would be solving these fingerprints. So see this, VNTR are highly conserved. Although the variable number tandem repeats, microsatellites, mini satellites are highly conserved among different individuals. However, different individuals differs in the number of repeats and the length of the simple sequence tandem arrays. So different individuals will differ from each other on the basis of number of repeat sequences as well as on the length of simple sequences. Okay, tandem arrays. These DNA polymorphisms are referred to as DNA fingerprinting. इस DNA polymorphism को हम बोलते हैं DNA fingerprinting. Now, DNA fingerprinting has been widely used in forensic sciences. It has been used extensively to solve paternity cases, etc. Next, with this technique, forensic scientists have been able to find missing persons, determine whether or not an individual is the parent of a child, and to establish beyond reasonable doubt that a person is guilty of a particular crime or not. So, to determine whether the missing person has been found or the dead body of that particular missing person is found, whether or not an individual is a child of a particular parent, or to establish beyond reasonable doubt that a person is guilty or not for a particular crime. Okay, so all these things involve the use of DNA fingerprinting technology. This is all about DNA fingerprinting that you must know. Any doubt, any problem, because now I'm going to give you certain questions that you will have to solve. Any doubt, any problem? Anyone has any doubt? Is this clear? Just message me, no doubt. Okay. Trishla, Shivani, Hiba, Komal, Ankit. No doubt at all. Okay, so here we go at the questions in front of you. Okay, DNA fingerprinting is over. Please do read this question. I have already solved this question for you all in my previous lectures. Now, look at the question given in front of you. I'm just opening that particular question. Uh, okay. Probably not. Okay, moving forward, we moved on towards the moderately repetitive DNA sequences. That is, what are these moderately repetitive DNA sequences? How moderately repetitive DNA sequences are being used, and in what manner? Just try to open that particular link. Just a second. Okay, DNA fingerprinting. DNA fingerprinting. Okay, we have a question in front of you all. Are you able to visualize this particular question or not? Just tell me. क्या आपको क्वेश्चन दिख रहा है या नहीं दिख रहा है? Just tell me. Are you able to visualize this particular question? Yes. Okay. Yes. Now just try to answer this particular question. Now see, just elaborating this up. Now it is visible much more clearly. Okay, try to solve this particular question. So what is given in this particular question is that the diagram below represent DNA fingerprinting, which are the result of gel electrophoresis done on several DNA samples found at a crime spot. This is the crime spot DNA molecule, and then there are suspects which are present: suspect A, suspect B, suspect C, and suspect D. Now, which suspect is linked to the crime scene by this DNA analysis? To which suspect you can say is linked to the crime scene? Please tell me. कौन सा सस्पेक्ट क्राइम सीन से रिलेटेड है? प्लीज देख के बताएं. एनी डाउट? ट्राई टू आंसर द क्वेश्चन बेटा. ट्राई टू आंसर द क्वेश्चन. अरे ट्राई टू आंसर द क्वेश्चंस. Suspect A is related to crime scene, suspect B, suspect C, or suspect D. Type your answers, na. Type your answers in the chat box. What you all are doing? Wait, now you have been made to understand, na. Now here comes the first answer. Here comes the second answer. Here comes the third answer. So see, suspect C has one-to-one correlation with the samples that have been found at the crime scene. Okay, so suspect C is the one that is going to have committed a particular crime. Please always text me personally only while answering the question so that I can know your individual responses. Next, moving forward to the next question. Answer is C. They have the same bands. Now, results from a single locus probe DNA fingerprinting analysis for a man and a woman and four of their children are shown in the autoradiography at the right. Okay, so if you are not able to get it, this is child one, this is child two, this is mother, this is father, this is child three, and this is child four. Which child is least likely to be the biological offspring of this couple? Out of all these child, which is not the biological offspring of this particular couple? इनमें से, इन सारे चिल्ड्रन में से इनका कौन सा बायोलॉजिकल ऑफस्प्रिंग नहीं है? केवल चार्ट के अंदर बैंड्स की पोजीशन को देख के आपको बताना है. टेल मी which is not the authentic child of this couple. Child 1, child 2, child 3, or child 4 are the four options in front of you. Please do try to answer the question. Anybody has been able to answer? Okay, I got the first answer as always, Trishla. Second and third answer. Okay, Ankit, just one more answer, and I'm telling you the answer myself by myself. Hiba, try to answer these questions. What about Shivani? Shivani, you are not answering. Shivani, where are you? Shivani is not taking the class. She is in the class. Okay, but Shivani, you are not answering. Okay, now see this. Which child is least likely to be the biological offspring of this couple? Now see, when this is the couple, see there is the father, there is the mother. Father, the bands are at this particular position. See, this is the position of the father band. That means this child has two different band. One band should come from the mother, another should come from the father. So one band is from the father, and another band is from the mother. Okay, so this child one would be the child of this particular couple. Okay, so child one is normal. Now you just look here, because of the this resembles that of father, and this resembles that of mother. See this? So child one is normal of this particular parent. Now you look at the child second. Child second, first band. Okay, first band is being is evolved from mother. Okay, the first band has evolved from mother. I'm taking different color combinations for every child. Let the second child be taken red. So here I'm just going to pinpoint that this is the gene that has been inherited in the child second, and there is another gene. Now see this. See this. There is a band that is coming. Now where from this band came? ये band कहाँ से आ गया? This band is not from the father because father is lacking this band over the electrophoresis gel. Father was not having any mini satellite or micro satellite as this at this particular position. So this is a new band that is going to be produced. So this child cannot be the biological offspring of the mother and father. And now look at child 4. Child 4 has the same band from the mother and has the same band, another band from the father. Okay. So what you concluded it out in the case of child second, in the case of child second, mother might be the same, but father is different. Mother might be same, but the father is different. But the father is different. Okay, is different. So something relation with the neighbor. Okay, no problem. I'm not going to go in deep into that. Okay, तो वो पड़ोसी का कुछ काम लगता है, खैर कोई बात नहीं, छोड़ें, ये चाइल्ड सेकंड हो जाता है. नेक्स्ट इसके आगे हम लोग बैठ के पढ़ते हैं. नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन. क्लियरिंग ऑल द ड्राइंग्स. That was tricky. Now, obviously, mother could not see how a child second appears to share two bands with the mother and none from the father. Obviously, the mother could not have contributed for both the alleles to the child. So it is this, but such type of questions will be asked. Such type of questions will be asked. So please do try to answer these questions. Now, moving back to the transposons. The next part that is referred to as the mobile genetic element. So those who have done wrong are able to understand why their answer was wrong. जिन लोगों का आंसर सही नहीं था वो समझ में आ गया ना क्यों सही नहीं था. शिवानी जी, यू आर नॉट आंसरिंग. कोई बात नहीं. We are moving forward. We have already looked upon the moderately repetitive DNA sequences. That what are the moderately repetitive DNA sequences, how these moderately repetitive DNA sequences are being arranged. I know your problem. No problem. Okay, so those moderately repetitive DNA sequences are also referred to as the mobile genetic elements. Okay, they are referred to as mobile genetic element. They are referred to as mobile DNA elements. These are also referred to as the selfish DNA molecule. They are referred to as the selfish DNA molecule because they are going to propagate within the genotype without contributing anything in the phenotype. So they will remain in the genotype. Selfish DNA, which is defined as a sequence that do not contribute to the genotype of an organism but propagate within the genome. It is not going to contribute within the genotype. It is defined as a sequence that do not contribute to the genotype of an organism but propagate within the genome. Now, another one is referred to as the mobile genetic element. Now, mobile genetic elements can be categorized into conservative and the replicative transposons. Conservative transposons always remains the same in number. Okay, their number remains the same. Their number remains same after transposition. Their number remains same even after transposition. Same even after transposition. Even after transposition. In the case of retrotransposons, in the case of replicative transposons, their number is going to be increased after the transposition has taken place. Their number is increased. Their number is increased after transposition has occurred. After transposition had occurred. So once the transposition has occurred, their number has been increased. This is how the number has been increased. Previously, they were present in a single copy number. Now they are present in two copy number. Next point. Now, the transposons element that are transcribed in the form of an RNA copy are called as retrotransposons. I have already told you what are these retrotransposons. They are being reverse transcribed in the form of a DNA intermediate. You can look here. This is the simple mechanism, the cut and the paste mechanism. cut and paste mechanism of transposition, cut and paste mechanism, and this is referred to as the copy and paste mechanism. Copy and paste mechanism. So this is copy and paste mechanism, and the other one being the cut and paste mechanism. Okay. So these are the two different mechanisms. There is the RNA intermediate. RNA intermediate can get reverse transcribed to form a DNA. DNA will get inserted to a target DNA, and this is the transposed mobile genetic element which has been inculcated, which has been included. ये मोबाइल जेनेटिक एलिमेंट है, ट्रांसपोज्ड मोबाइल जेनेटिक एलिमेंट है, जिसे हमने यहाँ पर इंक्लूड कर दिया है. ओके, नेक्स्ट. Next point, mobile bacterial mobile element. Now, what are these bacterial mobile element? I have already told you the bacterial mobile element include the IS element as well as the transposons. These are the mobile element that moves. These can be classified into two different types. One is referred to as the simple mobile transposable element. Another one is referred to as the composite mobile transposable element. This is composite mobile transposable element, and this is referred to as the simple mobile transposable element. See this? Most notable element in bacterial transposase is directly as a DNA molecule. In contrast, most mobile genetic element in eukaryotes are retrotransposons. देखिए यूकैरियोट के अंदर जितने भी मोबाइल जेनेटिक एलिमेंट होते हैं, that mobile genetic element which are present in the case of eukaryotes are usually retrotransposon. Most mobile element in the case of eukaryotes are the retrotransposons in nature, whereas most mobile elements that are directly being transposed is directly in the form of a DNA molecule. Okay, is the bacterial transposable element. In the case of bacteria, they are being transposed in the form of DNA. In the case of eukaryotes, they are being transported in the form of heterotransposons. Insertional sequences are the most common transposable elements which are present in the bacterial cells. IS elements are the most common transposable elements present in the bacterial genome. IS elements सबसे ज़्यादा transposable elements होते हैं in the case of bacterial genome, and these IS elements have a hallmark. The presence of short direct repeat is a hallmark of the IS element. See this, an important hallmark of the IS element is the presence of short direct repeat sequences. This forms an hallmark of the IS element. You can look here, 5 to 11 base pair short direct repeat sequences. Now, upon the integration of this IS element to a particular site, when the IS element are integrated to a particular site, they always produce certain sequences, and those are referred to as the inverted sequences. These are the sequences which are going to be produced, and these sequences are commonly referred to as the inverted sequences. इन्हें हम क्या कह देते हैं? Inverted sequences कह देते हैं. These are the inverted sequences that are going to be produced. Okay, so see, this is the inverted sequence that are going to be produced, and these inverted sequences are the site for the action of an enzyme, and that enzyme is referred to as transposase. These are the sites where the enzyme is going to work, and that enzyme is going to be called as transposase. Transposase. This is the enzyme that is going to work and cleave this DNA molecule. Once cleaved, then it will be transported to the other site. Okay, once they would be cleaved, they would be transported to another site. Supposingly this is going to be cleaved, or this is going to be cleaved, then it is going to be transferred, okay, to another site. This is the protein coding region that codes for the transposase enzyme. Protein coding region, and this protein coding region codes for transposase. Next, now, genetic organization of the bacterial transposon. This is referred to as TN10. Now, there is a genetic organization of the bacterial transposon. That genetic organization of the bacterial transposon is referred to as TN10. TN10 elements vary from TN1 to TN10. If you would be looking at these elements, these vary from TN1 to TN10. इतने एलिमेंट होते हैं 10 एलिमेंट होते हैं these are referred to as composite mobile genetic element because along with the enzyme that is encoding for the transposase, along with the gene encoding for transposase, this is the gene for transposase. Transposase. This is the transposase enzyme which is present. ये वो एंजाइम है जिसका नाम है ट्रांसपोजेस और ये ट्रांसपोजेस एक जगह से दूसरी जगह पे मूव कर सकता है. ओके. There is a region that is referred to as defective transposase gene and there is a gene that is called as transposase gene. एक जीन होता है जिसका नाम होता है ट्रांसपोजेस जीन. Another one is the defective regions that is present. This is referred to as IS10 to the left hand side and this is referred to as IS10 to the right hand side. So this is referred to as the composite mobile genetic element because it would be encoding for certain proteins and these proteins will make the bacterial cells drug resistance. Making bacterial cells, these will make the bacterial cell drug resistance. Will make the bacterial cells drug resistance. Cells drug resistance. Okay, this is how drug resistance will be produced. Now another one is referred to as eukaryotic transposons. Now the transposons which are present in eukaryotes is referred to as eukaryotic transposons. These can be of two different types. I have already told you, I have already informed you. One is referred to as the autonomously controlling element. Another one is referred to as the non-autonomously controlling element. Autonomously controlling elements are the elements which are capable of their own transposition from one location to another. These are capable of their own transposition. These are called as autonomously controlling element. Non-autonomously controlling elements are deficient in any transposition. They cannot transpose. And these autonomously transposable elements are called as AC elements, code for an active transposase that recognize both AC element and the DC sequences. The DC elements has an internal deletion, so do not synthesize their own transposase. So they are the one that are not going to synthesize their own transposase because what is going to happen in this case, the DC elements have a mutation, have an internal deletion present within itself. So do not have the ability to encode its own transposase enzyme. Okay, इनके अंदर ability नहीं होती कि ये transposase enzyme को include कर सकें. The eukaryotic transposons occurs in the case of Drosophila and these are referred to as P elements in the case of Drosophila. So this is referred to as P elements in case of Drosophila and ACDS elements which are found in the case of Barbara McClintock. Okay, so these are the sequences which are present in Barbara McClintock. Barbara McClintock में जो genus sequence होता है वो कौन सा होता है? ACDS transposable elements DNA sequences by Barbara McClintock in maize. Now, the next is referred to as the retrotransposons. What are the retrotransposons? Retrotransposons are the transposons which moves in the form of an RNA copy. Okay, they will move from one location to the other in the form of an RNA copy, then they are referred to as retrotransposons. Okay, all eukaryotes contain retrotransposons, mobile genetic elements that transposes through an RNA intermediates utilizing a reverse transcription mechanism. So these are the intermediates, these are the mobile genetic elements that are being transcribed in the form of an RNA intermediate, then they are said to be retrotransposons. These can be categorized into two different categories, viral retrotransposons and non-viral retrotransposons. Now, one is called as viral, another one is called as non-viral. Viral retrotransposons. The second one is called as the non-viral retrotransposons. Now, viral retrotransposons contain a repeat that is called as long terminal repeat sequences. Another is non-viral retrotransposons that lacks a long terminal repeat sequences and possess two different types of sequences. One is referred to as line, another one is referred to as sign. Line refers to long interspersed nuclear element and sign refers to short interspersed nuclear elements. So these are the different elements that are going to be present. So now we are going to talk about line and sign. Okay, so look here. So line and sign, as the name indicate, long interspersed nuclear element and short interspersed nuclear element. Firstly, we are going to talk about firstly we are going to talk about lines. What are these lines? Okay, so see this. Sign and line are the non-viral retrotransposons. Signs are transcribed by RNA polymerase third. So these are always being transcribed by RNA polymerase third. RNA polymerase third always transcribed sign, and these sign sequences always contain a sequence for the restriction to nucleus called as ALU1. And these sequences are commonly called as ALU1 DNA sequences. Okay. Now, these signs include a very important DNA sequence that is called as U6SNRNA, U6SLSCRNA. Okay, this is the most important sign that is present. See this, they contain the sequence. They are being transcribed by RNA polymerase third. I have already told you. They contain ALU sequences. They make up approximately 5% of the total human DNA. Okay, one of the most important ALU sequence is the 7SLSC RNA, a non-coding RNA which is involved in the movement of the polypeptide along the organelle. So it is the one that is going to translocate the polypeptide from one organelle to the other. पॉलीपेप्टाइड के मूवमेंट के लिए प्रेजेंट होता है 7SLSCRNA. Another type of element which is present is referred to as the line element, which is called as L1 line family of transposable element. Now you look at the L1 line family of transposable elements. These transposable elements contain open reading frame, and these open reading frame are synonymous to the three genes which are present in the case of retrovirus, and those genes are GAC, POL, and ENV. GAC, POL, and ENV. You know that retrovirus contain three genes ENV. रेट्रोवायरस के अंदर तीन जीन्स होते हैं, एक होता है भाई गैग, दूसरा होता है पॉल और तीसरा होता है इन्वलप ग्लाइकोप्रोटीन. इन तीनों जीन्स ये जो होते हैं एक लाइन में प्रेजेंट होते हैं. दीज जीन्स आर ऑलवेज प्रेजेंट इन अ पर्टिकुलर रेशियो. Okay, these genes are present like this, and these genes undergo mutation later on, revealing later on leading to the formation of ORF1, ORF2, and ORF3. Sometimes even ORF3 is present. ORF3, open reading frame 3, is present in such type of line transposable elements. Okay. Now, before we start gene family, we must know how these line family of transposable elements move. You can look here. These are the open reading frames I have already told you. So genetic organization of the typical line family of transposons. Okay, this is the genetic organization of line family. There is an open reading frame which is being involved. You can look at the open reading frame, and then the open reading frame 2, which is a bifunctional protein with reverse transcriptase and DNA endonuclease activity. So this ORF2 will form a reverse transcriptase plus nuclease protein. They have a dual function, and this protein complex is going to act over this over the mRNA molecule, converting this mRNA into cDNA. The mRNA will get converted into a cDNA molecule. Once this cDNA has been produced, this cDNA will move from one location to another, inserted from one location to another, inserted from one location to the other, from one location to the other. Okay, so they are going to be inserted from one location to the other. Okay, now L1 line family of transposable element, how does the function works? L1 RNA synthesis takes place. This is the L1 RNA that has been biosynthesized. L1 RNA, once being biosynthesized, is being cleaved. Okay, and this L1 biosynthesized RNA molecule will lead to the formation of a DNA molecule. Synthesis of reverse transcriptase endonuclease takes place, and binding of the L1 RNA takes place. Once the binding of the L1 RNA takes place, this L1 RNA is then going to interdigitate in the target DNA. नियर बाय टारगेट डीएनए के अंदर चला जाता है, इंटरडिजिटेट कर जाता है, लीड टू द फॉर्मेशन ऑफ अ कॉम्प्लीमेंट्री डीएनए मॉलिक्यूल. दिस इज आरएनए. दिस इज आरएनए. आरएनए. And here the DNA polymerase is moving. Because DNA polymerase is moving, so it is forming complementary DNA. Okay, this is complementary DNA. Complementary DNA. This is the complementary DNA which is being produced, and this complementary DNA is being inserted here. Okay, so this is a type of transposition that takes place through this is a type of transposition that takes place through site specific recombination. Transposition site specific recombination by a non-viral retrotransposon. This is what happens in the case of a non-viral retrotransposon, especially the line family of retrotransposon. The line family of retrotransposons. Is this clear or not? क्या ये क्लियर है आप लोगों को कि लाइन फैमिली कैसे वर्क करती है या नहीं? Okay, is this clear to you or not? Please do inform me. Please do inform me. So this is all about transposons. We would be talking about hybrid dysgenesis, which is given in your latest book. Okay, what is that hybrid dysgenesis? How does hybrid dysgenesis takes place? Anyone has any doubt related to transposon, you just ask me. Anyone has any doubt related to transposons, you can always ask me. Okay. So next is we are going to talk about the gene families as well as the hybrid dysgenesis. So that we are going to assume from tomorrow at the same time. Okay, tomorrow is going to be our weekend. Okay, but it won't be a holiday. It won't be a holiday for you all. You all have will have some extra classes because of the weekends. Okay, so that's all for today. Hope you enjoyed your lecture. Okay, you will get the recorded version on the YouTube by itself. If you feel any problem, you can always call me, WhatsApp it, no, WhatsApp to me. Thank you, beta. Thanks a lot. Bye bye.